to our podcast, The Journey to CEO Success. I'm your co-host, Melissa Saunders, along with Patrick Thean, award-winning serial entrepreneur, CEO coach, and a Wall Street Journal and USA Today best-selling author. His latest book, The Journey to CEO Success, is a #1 Amazon bestseller and the inspiration for this podcast. Hi, Patrick.
Hey, Melissa.
How are ya?
It's great, man. I'm doing great.
Awesome. And I'm excited to welcome Eric Schnenker, CEO of Coolcore. It's a cool brand that we can't wait to tell you about. It's redefining performance fabrics with its innovative cooling technology. Eric acquired Coolcore in 2024 after leading Craft Sportswear North America for nearly 20 years. When he's not steering the ship, he's spending time with his wife of 25 years, his 2 daughters, and as a professional amateur endurance athlete. Eric calls coastal New England home, just north of Boston. Welcome to the show, Eric. Glad to have you.
Thanks, Melissa. Thanks, Patrick. Good to be here.
Yeah, Eric. Hey, welcome, man. Welcome. And, this podcast is all about helping CEOs have a more joyful and successful life. So we're going to get into your journey for that. Before we do that, though, I'd love you to take a minute or two and introduce yourself and your company, Coolcore. Tell us what Coolcore does and what excites you about Coolcore.
All right. Well, in my little intro, maybe some of the other CEOs will resonate with that I'm a professional amateur athlete. I think there's a lot of us out there, right, who
yes,
we spend as much money as professional athletes on our hobbies, but we are all pretty much amateurs. So hopefully some of the other CEOs that are listening will get a kick out of that.
We spend the money so that they can make the money.
Something I just I feel like we spend enough time, energy,
Yes.
type A, what have you, but ultimately, we still get the question from our wives, like, why aren't you faster? Did you, like all those kind of questions. But
my response to that is, what do you mean by I'm not faster? I am faster.
Yeah.
I didn't win anything, but I'm faster.
I'm out there hustling, right? And it's a great thing. But I know a lot of other professional amateur athletes in my peer network. But a little bit about Coolcore. Coolcore, we're an ingredient brand. So if you don't know what an ingredient brand is, think about, you certainly know some ingredient brands in your life. Gore-Tex, right? Gore-Tex is an ingredient brand. Vibram that you see on the bottom of boots is an ingredient brand. Polar Tech. And Coolcore aspires to be a household name as an ingredient brand, but really focused more on cooling. My journey to Coolcore was that I spent about 20 years at a Scandinavian sportswear brand where we really specialized in winter sports. And I'm a big winter sports fan. I was really lucky to be able to combine some passion with my profession. But I can tell you, for 19 out of those 20 years, it was getting warmer and the winters were getting shorter.
That's right.
So I kind of went from the winter biz to kind of, let's say, placing a little bit of a bet on some global warming moving forward in the future. So,
well, it's really cool what you said in that statement. Whether you did it intentionally or you did it intentionally based on our conversations. But a lot of us look at trends, but not all of us figure out a way to to do something that is on trend. So you've done something in your shift here to be really on trend.
It was a 20-year journey to sort of come to that realization. And sort of like we used to, I think we always joked, all of my peers within the craft world and other winter sports brands, is that we were snow farmers, right? Like literally, like we harvested snow, we harvested cold, and for many parts around globally around the world, including the US, that was getting harder and harder. And I'm a huge, passionate winter sports athlete and fan. But ultimately, from a professional standpoint, I think I'm a bit more focused on how do we help people, or how do we help brands make really remarkable cooling products with our fabric. And
so your customers are people like Nike and Oakley and folks like that, right?
I think ironically, you're wearing a shirt by the name of a brand called Cool.
Yes, I
right?
am.
Yeah. Now that's spelled with a K, but that's a great brand. Like, we would love to work with Cool and make fabric for that shirt. So whether you were outside or even inside on a hot day, that it would help cool you off and help you regulate your body temperature. And we do that high performance products as well as just everyday casual wear, tops, bottoms. We sell to the medical community as well, everything from wheelchair covers for the permanently disabled. We sell to the equestrian world for equine associated products for horses. We make cooling vests for dogs. And maybe one of the more well-known products that we make is, and we've been doing this for, it's been a long time coming. We do all of the cooling towels at Disney. Okay, so if you went to Orlando, you went to the gift shop on a hot summer day, you went in the gift shop, you bought a cooling towel, we make that, we actually make that cooling towel. So
that is cool. I have definitely bought one of those before.
Thank you. Buy more.
I have. I've definitely
Feel free to buy more.
Yeah, because my kids love Disney, and when we go to Disney all the time. You know, my daughter's 26 and 23, and they still love to go to Disney. So I still love to go to Disney.
Yeah, it's a really neat business that I like. Everything from the cooling accessories to the clothing, to pet products, to medical space. There's something happening with cooling right now. I think, nobody's going to argue that. It feels like a great space to be in. And I think we've got a great chemical-free, permanent kind of technology, so it doesn't wash out. We've got patents surrounding it. And future looks bright and warm.
So the idea behind your tech or your materials is to basically allow the person to feel cooler with that material, right? Has to do with how stuff evaporates?
It's an evaporative cooling technology, and we're basically enhancing that evaporative cooling technology with kind of our proprietary blend of getting a little bit nerdy here, but we use fibers, sort of structured fibers, functional fibers that are actually inspired by fibers found in nature. And we combine those with our formula, and it really creates this incredible enhanced evaporative cooling effect. There are other, evaporative coolings out there. I think what's really interesting about our cooling tech versus others, a lot of other folks use minerals that might be mined from the earth. Others use chemicals to create that cooling effect, but those wash out. Ours is a permanent function. So for the life of the garment, and durability and circularity is a big conversation right out there in the market, right? Opposed to all of the waste that fast fashion creates. Here with this technology, for the life of the garment, it will always, no matter what, have that cooling functionality.
Because it's woven in. Is that why it's
in the it's mechanical, right? So the fibers themselves, the way in which those fibers are constructed and then put together, creates more of a mechanical evaporative cooling effect versus a chemical reaction.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very cool. So now let's talk about your journey. How did you get here? Like I got the big picture, but share a little bit about how you actually found your way here to Cooltech.
Yeah, so Coolcore. So the way I got, no problem. The way I got to Coolcore was I had a fantastic and wonderful journey with Craft. It was the absolute. I was so lucky. I think you talk about work-life balance and happiness. I mean, I was able to work and make a living in the sports and environment that I loved, whether it be pro cycling or Nordic skiing or trail running. I mean, I was so fortunate. That journey came to an end when I saw some other opportunities out there. And I didn't find the business on buy, biz, sell, right? I found this business actually sort of came to me through networking conversation with a friend who introduced me to another person, who introduced me another person. And that person said, hey, you wouldn't be interested in looking at this cooling business. I know that they're looking for a new leader. And I was like, sure, let me take a look. And as soon as I looked kind of under the hood, I knew it was something that was really interesting to me. And I was really lucky. The headquarters are just an hour north of where I live. So there were a lot of really good things that came together and aligned. And maybe I had that, I don't want to maybe it's the wrong word to use. I had that PTSD from winter and trying to make a living on winter. So when somebody said cooling, that might have resonated more for me than somebody else who hadn't been as invested in the winter side of the business.
So Eric, you love what you're doing, right? Like you feel called to do. I mean, you
I dig it.
do this. Yeah, you dig it.
I dig it. Yeah, I dig it. I dig it. I dig it. I love. I'm a brand. I mean, I am a brand guy. Like when I say brand guy, like consumer-facing brand. So I would say that is kind of where a lot of my passion has come over the years. What I'm doing at Coolcore now is I am putting some real polish on the Coolcore brand itself. So we are really trying to elevate that, how people look at Coolcore, so that we are considered in that sort of top tier echelon of those ingredient brands. And what I really like about Coolcore is we also get to work with all these different kind of brands, right? So Carhartt, the Jordan brand, Disney, Red Cat, like we work with like all these brands all over the world, Asia, Europe, North America. So I enjoy being a part of all of those brands as well. So I kind of, so I'm actually enjoying it. I'm not a fabric engineer by trade. I'm learning a lot about fabric engineering, but I'm by no means a fabric engineer by trade. I think I'm bringing more of the sales and marketing acumen to this brand, who I believe very strongly in the tech. I feel very strongly about the sort of market opportunity, and we're really like we're I don't know when this podcast will be released, but hopefully by the end of September we're rolling out kind of a whole new brand platform that we've been working on for almost a year. So it's really exciting. So
very good, very good. And I got to tell you, for all those people listening to this, here's a key lesson that we can all learn from Eric. I'm going to share a thought, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, but here's the thought. You took your passion. Now, whether you did it intentionally or unintentionally, this is the place you found yourself, where you got your passion, what you love, right? You love sports. You love, like you said, what did you say? A professional
amateur athlete.
You're a professional athlete.
I'm a professional amateur.
Professional amateur athlete. Right?
Yeah.
But you love this, and in fact, my first conversation with you, I could really see how much you loved doing this, and then you took that and you were able to find a job or a company to be a part of, to buy, that brought that passion that you had into this. Plus, you enjoy the retail. You enjoy the retail-facing consumer stuff. So first lesson, I would say, or big takeaway that we can all have, sometimes people make the mistake of going to an opportunity to make money, but it doesn't speak to their passion and their dreams. And I think that part of the success that you have and part of your journey here, I believe part of why you have joy in your success is you've been able to connect those dots. You've been able to connect what you like to do in life. You're being an athlete. You've connected the professional side, and that's what you do for a living now. So, I always say, look, you're going to spend 70% of your waking hours at work at least. So if you're spending 70% of your waking hours at work doing something that you don't enjoy or you don't have passion over, that's not a good ticket. But because you're spending all this time on something that you love and you enjoy, work is almost play and play is almost work, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like to make money, right? Like I definitely see that there's a financial reward here with this business, and there's a real growth opportunity. But I do, I probably would have a tough time, having spent so much time professionally in a very passion-driven role, that in moving, it would have been very difficult for me to go into a less passion-driven role. I know that I could have put a sunset on it, Patrick, right? So I think this gives me enough energy, and I love the wins. The wins give me energy. The sales give me energy. The new developments, the new exciting products that we're bringing to market, that all gives me energy. So yeah, I just want to be clear. I hope to make a lot of money doing this as well.
Absolutely. and I think that's where I think you got it right. We're going to do well, but life, you have one life. So I think some people make the mistake of saying, I'm going to make money over here, enjoy myself over here.
Yeah.
I'm saying one thing you're doing right is that you are making money where you enjoy.
I'm trying. Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah.
I am trying.
Yeah. And that actually, I think, increases your potential and possibilities of success, your probability of success.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it. You asked me that question at the beginning. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And actually, I'm really enjoying doing something kind of new at this stage in the supply chain, which was different from what I was doing before. So, after 20 years of kind of rinse and repeat a little bit, doing something new at a different part of the supply chain has been pretty energizing for me. And I have learned a lot in a year, a little over a year. And definitely some of my, oh man, this is going to be, this is going to be easy, or we could definitely do this, or we could do, I've definitely been wrong a bunch of times as well.
So tell me what you're thinking when I say your principles, what have you been doing that have led you to this place? And I'm suspecting that even how you selected coming here, so much is made from what I call the domino decisions you make really dictate whether you have a joyful and successful life.
Mm-hmm.
And your domino decision is you chose you chose a role in a company, you purchased it, but it's really connected to your passion. So I'm curious whether, you keep saying you were lucky and all that, and things connected well, but I also believe you made some of that luck happen by the actions you took. So I'm curious as to what our audience can learn from that. What principles did you have that guided your search for a company, and what guided you towards this to help you make this luck?
So I wish I could remember who it was, and I would give them a lot of credit in doing it. But there's an interesting backstory on the craft side of things, on how I got there, but more so on this journey to this Coolcore journey. When I left craft, somebody really said, hey, write down exactly what you're looking for. Pie in the sky. Yes. Right? Like literally pie in the sky. What are you looking for? Where it needs to be, how much you want to make, what the potential is, all of those other things. Because what they said is, if you don't do that, you won't be able to evaluate the opportunities that are presented to you.
Yes.
Okay. And I kind of didn't do that at the start. And then I was kind of chasing interesting opportunities. And once I did that, it kind of crystallized other opportunities that I was looking at, other acquisitions that I was looking at, other jobs I was looking at. And ultimately, this one then became very easy to evaluate when it was presented, because I could just say, yes, 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 nope, but that's okay, yes, yes, yes. And it having actually written down on paper, not just in my brain, but written down on paper, helped me, I think, more effectively evaluate opportunities that were presented to me, and also helped my wife, my partner, hold me accountable to those things as well, right? So I was looking at one other opportunity, another role, and she says, Eric, I hear you, but here's all the things you said that you really wanted in your next, we've titled it the Encore career, right? So,
yes.
And that was really helpful. So I would say, at least from a finding what I wanted to do and being able, now, maybe that opportunity never would have come, and I would have had to change maybe some of those things, but I started with kind of that pie in the sky opportunity, and I was really lucky. I was lucky. I guess I was able to jump pretty quickly onto something when the opportunity was presented.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of speed in this business as well, not Coolcore business, but when looking for those next opportunities, it's a waste of their time. Let's say the seller or the other company hiring, yes. Like, are you really going to relocate? Like, that was the other thing. A bunch of opportunities came up about relocation.
Yes.
And I said, And we kind of wrote down like, this is the only other place we would potentially relocate to.
Yes. That's powerful.
Right. It was very easy. Like, if I hadn't done that, I think I could have spun my wheels a lot more.
Yes.
Or not been honest with myself if I was going to go do it or not. And that's unfair to both parties.
Yes. And so your thinking process, writing it down, first of all, that's powerful. Getting it from here to paper is powerful. By the way, that concept of getting it from here to paper is true of almost anything we do in business, even in your company. Like if the strategy is stuck in your head, not on paper, you haven't committed to it. So part of it is you haven't committed to it. Secondly, you can't educate other people around you. So getting it from here to here, paper, really important. And then your wife became your accountability buddy to some degree. She held you
very much. Very much.
You said, right? As you said you want to do. I think that's very powerful. You put those two things together, guys. If you listen to this podcast, those are real powerful takeaways that Eric just shared. If you just did that, it would be so much. You'll be so much more successful in life. By the way, I interviewed somebody very recently, about a year or so ago, that we were trying to hire, and relocation to Charlotte was a big item. And in the interview process, we actually talked about it, and we told the candidate that they had to move to Charlotte, and the candidate said, "Yep, everything was good." And then at the final, just before when we made the offer, his wife said no. And I was like, dude, like, and then he tried to convince us that it's okay to give him the job and him not relocate to Charlotte. And I said, no, that was a requirement. We stated it up front, but he didn't have that conversation with his wife to talk about whether or not they would move to Charlotte. And it didn't work out. And you're right, it didn't just cause us heartburn on our side, it caused him heartburn too, because he fell in love with the job. He fell in love with the job, and then he had to choose to not, so yes, it doesn't help anybody, but that was really powerful. Those two things, head to paper, and then your wife helping you, an accountability buddy helping you to be accountable to that. That's really powerful.
And I wish I could give credit to the person who sort of reminded me of that process, but I don't want to say that was me. That was somebody that gave me that advice, and it was really sound advice.
And by the way, it's never too late. Like in your story, you actually didn't do that in the beginning.
I did it. You're correct. Right? Yeah.
It's never too late. So sometimes we fool ourselves into, I should have done that. Yeah, well, you can still do it now.
Yeah. Just I found myself convincing myself about opportunities that ultimately in my gut check, I was probably not going to take.
Yes.
So that was kind of that's where I got to that point.
Yeah. So tell me about your dreams. Your dreams for this company. What are you thinking about? What's your dream for this company and for yourself?
I mean, the dreams for this company really are to become to be the number one cooling ingredient brand. I mean, I'm not shying away from that. I think the possibility is there. We have some fantastic competitors out there. So there's a lot of great competitors doing great things. I think we've got something unique, and I think hopefully, like I said, when this 2.0 rolls out, we're certainly going to look the best from a brand perspective. So I really believe that we can become the number one cooling ingredient brand in the world. Right? I mean, I think the capabilities are there. It's going to take a lot of effort, but that's really what I hope for. Yeah. And the journey that we're on.
So thank you very much for sharing that. Now my question is, have you written that down on paper?
I do. Oh, it's written down.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's written down, and then pretty structured annual goals and quarterly goals and tracking. So I think, I'll ask you, Patrick, but is that a mission driven thing, right? Like ultimately I'm probably equally driven financially as I am by the mission. Yes. And I think a little bit of what I have to recognize as a CEO or clarify a little bit is, am I trying to drive that engagement from my employees from a mission standpoint, or is it what are the other motivating factors for them? Because I'm a very passionate guy and I can get really behind this goal to be the number one. What does that really mean for my employees? So that's just more of a sort of an internal dialogue that I have been having recently, and my CMO, who's a great thought partner, has brought to me, and we just talking about that difference, right? Like, I'm super engaged in being number one and being a global leader, and I know that my employees would love that as well. But what does that actually motivate them or not? So you ask about writing it down. I got to figure out.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I wrote it down, but still got to get the team on board.
Totally.
Right? So I think we as the CEOs, we can be very passionate and driven about these things, but we need our team to help us achieve that.
Yes.
And so that's where I guess I would admit that I'm struggling right now to find that balance with the team.
That's good, man. That's the right question, right? If you have the right question, you're going to get the right answers. And one thing I would share real quick is that that's a fantastic goal, right? In our world, we would call that a big, hairy, audacious goal. Thanks to Mr. Jim Collins, who gave us the book Good to Great, talked about having a big, hairy, audacious goal that is so far out, and so it's and you don't even know how to get there. That's great. Now you do also need to have maybe a purpose as well that helps anchor that goal. But we can talk about that in more detail later. But those are the things that will help you, I think, give purpose, and then you translate that to daily stuff. But I tell you what, man, most employees want to work for a CEO that has a big ambition. They may not say that, but it's cool. It's cool. It's cool to work for a guy who has a big dream. And if you want to make something number one, my goodness, that is awesome. Like, I would sign up for that dream. So that's what. And there's a lot more that goes into that. Not just writing it down, the dream. It's all the things you do. It's why that's important. Like, Simon Sinek says, start with why. So your product, cooling, there are a lot of good whys there that are easy to create that people can feel like they're bringing good stuff to the world. So I want to wish you all the best. I think you're not that far away from being able to create all the ingredients you need to have a fully engaged employee base that's excited about building something. By the way, you started today with comparing this to Gore-Tex, and Gore-Tex is undeniably the number one waterproofing brand, and there are a lot of waterproofing brands out there today because the Gore-Tex patent is over, right? So Gore-Tex has been around a long time, but I'm still left with this idea, right or wrong. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but when I shop for waterproof material, waterproof garments, if I see the word Gore-Tex on there, I'm willing to pay more for that. Like, it may not be better anymore. I don't know if it is, frankly. But I see the word Gore-Tex, I'm like, damn, that's good. In fact, I got this ski jacket from this other brand that it's a European brand that's expensive. And when I was shopping for it, I put it on. It felt really good. Like, the jacket fit me perfectly. And just before I bought it, I looked and I'm like, it is not Gore-Tex. It was my one complaint. And I almost didn't buy the jacket because of that. I was like, for the amount of money I'm paying, why the hell isn't it Gore-Tex? And I don't know if it's right or wrong. I'm not a materials guy. I don't have textiles research, but it's in my brain that, God, for so much money I'm paying, why isn't it Gore-Tex? Right? And then my buddy who was into this said, Patrick, there's lots of other stuff that's just as good now. It doesn't have to be Gore-Tex, but that's what Gore-Tex has captured my mind, that first position, right?
Yeah. That's what we're trying to do. I want you to walk in, look at a golf polo in a shop. If there's two golf polos there and one's got a Coolcore hang tag and the other one doesn't, I trust Coolcore. I know if I buy this shirt, I'm going to be comfortable out there on the course.
Yes.
If you're running, if you're buying workwear, if you're buying a cooling accessory, I would love Coolcore to evoke that trust and also help that brand charge more money for that product.
Absolutely.
That is I don't hide that, right? Like,
yes,
that's kind of the objective, right? Is that they can buy my product and charge more to the consumer because it's going to work and the consumer's going to trust it.
Yeah. Eric, I've had a lot of fun with you, man. It's been awesome. I can't believe time flies like that. I need to ask you my last question,
Okay.
which I ask everyone. This podcast is about helping CEOs have a joyful and successful life. So what last piece of advice would you like to leave with our audience that could help them have a more joyful and successful life?
I'll get like a little mushy here for a minute, if that's okay.
Please.
And I'm past it now. I've got 2 daughters. One's a junior in college. I've got one that recently graduated, so they're sort of grown and out of the house a little bit. I would say I regret traveling as much as I did when they were younger. So this is my kind of I didn't need to be on every trip. I didn't need to be there. I should have probably trusted more my team in some of those situations. And I wish I could get that time back. And I think we would have done just as well. So I'm not going to get too much into like goal setting and all these other things, but to be joyful, like now it's like, man, did I need to go on all of those trips and be away from my kids when they were so young? Because now they're out of the house. So I think that would have been more joyful for me. I didn't realize it at the time. I realize it now looking back. So more about making the joyfulness of that time when it's there and present. And I'm doing that now today, even when they're older. They don't want to spend as much time with me. But actually now I think we're actually getting back to that point where it's like circling back again a little bit. So I am trying to say yes more to time with the family than maybe I would have in the past. And even if we're in this sort of like startup, even though Coolcore is an established business, we're kind of in startup mode again. I'm definitely not sacrificing time with my family as maybe much as I would have made that decision in the past. How's that?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eric. Melissa, back to you.
Yeah, Eric, I'm actually a new grandma. So the good news is you can do that again with your grandkids.
And I will. And so what am I trying to do? I'm trying to juice this business as much as I can. Yeah. So when I have grandkids in the future, if I do or not, then I'm in a position to spend time with them. So that's definitely on my mind.
Yeah, thanks, Eric, for being here with us today and sharing your story. It's a great one. Until next time, go out there, enjoy your journey. Bye now.